What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to another video here on the channel. We're back with some more Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. This is something a little bit different here today. We are going to be doing sort of like a prediction or speculation, but I'm pretty sure that this isn't pretty too far off based off of what we can expect for the upcoming DLC for Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. Shout out to Slow Plays. I'll leave a link to him down in the description below. I actually did get this video idea from him, and I actually do want to give my own insight on what we can actually expect with the upcoming first 1, 2, and 3 DLCs that we will be getting from Sparking Zero. Now it says here, and now this was revealed towards the end of the announcement trailer, we were given everything that we could expect for the specific editions of every single game. So we'll be able to get the game 3 days early depending on the edition that we get. We would be getting the pre-order bonus, the ultimate content, which includes Goku Super with a costume on his power pole and stuff like that. And we would be getting access to the season pass, and that guarantees us being able to have 20 plus playable characters for free when they do drop in the upcoming DLCs after the game's release. So it seems like these two sections of Dragon Ball Super Super Hero, and Dragon Ball Daima, we'll be getting in total 20 plus playable characters. Now 20 plus playable characters means more than 20. We're not getting less than 20, and we are probably not getting exactly 20. We're probably going to be getting more than 20, and it's going to be separated into 3 distinct DLCs. So on the top it says DLC Pack 1, DLC Pack 2, and then DLC Pack 3. Along with that, we will be also getting an early access to the DLCs before they drop for everybody globally. And if you guys are wondering what that may or may not consist of, it's probably going to consist of how Dragon Ball Z Kakarot works. You know, you'll probably get the DLC a day or 2 early, and you'll be able to test out the new characters, play the new content related to the characters and stuff like that before you're able to take it online. And then 2 days afterwards, you know, they'll release the whole thing globally, and the people that had access to the season pass bonus, you know, they'll have that extra perk of being able to play these games, you know, before they actually do hit the market, or the PlayStation Store, or the Xbox Store, or wherever you're playing on, you know what I mean? Now, with a lot of info in regards to Dragon Ball Daima, it's still hard to put a pinpoint on what we would be getting for Dragon Ball Daima. I obviously think we'll be getting a handful of characters, considering that it's its own distinct separate series compared to, you know, Dragon Ball Super Super Hero. It's just a movie. You know, Dragon Ball Daima, it's literally, you know, we have 16 episodes already confirmed for Dragon Ball Daima, which would, if they play them weekly, that would go throughout the course of 5 months. So we're definitely going to be getting a lot with Dragon Ball Daima. I assume that we would be getting like a Goku, like a mini Goku, or maybe, you know, a mini Vegeta, a mini Piccolo, the Masked Majin character that was released very recently. We would also probably get characters like Supreme Kai, Glorio, stuff like that. That's just based off of my assumption. It really just depends on when Dragon Ball Daima does release. It really just depends on how much of the characters that do get actual fight scenes and stuff like that. I'm pretty sure it's a given that we will be getting miniature Goku from Dragon Ball Daima and miniature Vegeta from Dragon Ball Daima incorporated in Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. And I'm pretty sure there's a lot of characters that'll be a given from Dragon Ball Super Super Hero as well. But I more specifically want to review Dragon Ball Super Super Hero because I feel like that's something we can dive deep into more than anything else. Now, in terms of the characters that we would be getting in Dragon Ball Sparking Zero for Dragon Ball Super Super Hero, this list that I made here, this is a total of 8 characters. I do want to leave a lot of room because it says 20 plus playable characters. We may get more than this, I'm not entirely sure. But, you know, I do actually want to leave room because I'm not entirely sure how much we would be getting from Dragon Ball Daima. We very well could be getting 12 to 15 characters from Dragon Ball Daima. I honestly have no idea. I want you guys to know, when it says 20 plus characters, we can't speculate exactly how much characters it will be, and they are separating it between 3 DLCs. So I assume that they're going to put Dragon Ball Super Super Hero in 1 DLC, and then maybe put Dragon Ball Daima into 2 separate DLCs, mainly because Dragon Ball Daima is probably going to consist of a lot compared to Dragon Ball Super Super Hero. But going into Dragon Ball Super Super Hero, okay, considering the fact that Giants are confirmed for the game, I don't think it would be too far off to think that Cell Max would be incorporated within the game. Okay, I think that's reasonable enough. I think we do see enough of his moveset and stuff like that to conclude that it would be reasonable to have someone like Cell Max within the game. I'm pretty sure they're going to give him an immense amount of super armor if he is in the game, but that's reasonable for every single Giant character considering how slow they are. But he does have a list of a moveset that we can expect for him to be in a game like this one, so I don't think that's too far off the target. I think something that would be a given, though, is having Beast Gohan and Orange Piccolo. Like, without a doubt, we can automatically expect that those two characters will definitely be in the game, like for sure. Like, you cannot add Dragon Ball Super Superhero and then exclude those two people from the roster. Two characters that I can say for sure will be in the DLC packs for Dragon Ball Super Superhero would be Gamma 1 and Gamma 2, and that's pretty self-explanatory considering the fact that they are literally within the image that we see promoting the DLC that would be released probably a couple months after the release date of the game. But let's get into this whole thing as a whole. So I don't necessarily think, in terms of Gohan, I don't necessarily think we'll get a whole new separate Gohan. We very well could. I think it's a 50-50 for me at least, mainly because the Gohan that we would see within the series, you know, if we have Super Saiyan Gohan and then Super Saiyan 2 Gohan within the series itself, then, you know, I don't really necessarily think why we would have a Gohan separately or distinct from this from the actual character roster, and then we just give him the same moves or the same forms that, you know, they literally had with the other characters, because they will have Ultimate Gohan separately and distinct, and they will have Super Saiyan and Super Saiyan 2 Gohan within the game distinct. So I don't necessarily think that we'll have those two forms, Ultimate Gohan and then Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, within Dragon Ball Super Superhero for a Gohan distinct from everybody, and then we're just going to add on Beast. I think it's reasonable enough that they just add Beast Gohan to maybe just the Ultimate Gohan preset that we already have within the game, but I wouldn't be surprised if they did add a Gohan Super, like the way they have a Goku Super and a Vegeta Super. I wouldn't be necessarily surprised if they did do that with Gohan, and then they added a base form Gohan, a Super Saiyan Gohan, a Ultimate Gohan, and then a Beast Gohan. I don't think that would be too far off, but one thing I can say for sure is that we will be getting Beast Gohan for a fact. Now, in terms of Piccolo, I think it would be reasonable enough to say that we would be getting our own distinct Piccolo. I think this should be classified as Piccolo Super, mainly because Piccolo doesn't get a lot of love after the Cell Saga of Dragon Ball Z. So I think it would be pretty reasonable enough to give Piccolo his own distinct separation, in concluding that he is a part of Dragon Ball Super, especially because we do see a lot of Piccolo within like the Tournament of Power and, you know, within the Universe 6 versus Universe 7 tournament and stuff like that. So base form Piccolo would be reasonable enough to be within the game, or at least for the super aspect, and obviously Yellow Piccolo and then Orange Piccolo, or potential Unleashed Piccolo, whatever you would want to call him. You know, I think those two characters will be in the game as well. You know, Yellow Piccolo, I think his moves will be a little bit fishy, but Orange Piccolo, I'm pretty sure his moves will be pretty straightforward because we do get enough of his moveset within the game, so I don't think we would be too far off the margin with someone like Orange Piccolo, but they very well could just add Orange Piccolo and Yellow Piccolo to the normal Piccolo that we already have in the roster. I would not be surprised if they did that as well. You have to understand that, you know, the Piccolo that we see in Super and the Gohan that we see in Super isn't necessarily far off from the people that we see in Z, and, you know, the only reason that they would be far off is from, you know, their ultimate transformations that they just got recently within the movie, being Orange Piccolo and Beast Gohan. So, you know, I don't, you know, it's kind of hard to say. I wouldn't be surprised if they just left them alone with, you know, the characters that we already have within the game or within the base game. But I also wouldn't necessarily be surprised if they had their own distinct character set for themselves. And we also don't know, with the way Dragon Ball Super is going, we also don't know if there'll be something new for them down the road as well. You know what I mean? But for instance, you know, when Ultra Ego Vegeta gets added to the game, when he gets animated and then he gets added to the game eventually, he would be more than likely incorporated within the Vegeta Super preset of Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. So that's why I wouldn't say it's too far-fetched to assume that we would be getting our own distinct variations for Gohan and Piccolo, considering the fact that they're from the Dragon Ball Super Superhero movie. Gamma 1 and Gamma 2, I don't think we have to really assume anything about them. Like I said, I'm pretty sure they're going to be added to the game. I don't think it would be unreasonable to not add Pan within the game, considering the fact that there's a section where we do see her training with Piccolo. I think we can give her basic moves and basic combos and stuff like that within the game, and I also do believe that we would be able to fly as Pan, considering the fact that there's that whole scene within the end of the movie where we do see Pan flying. I'm sorry if I spoiled it for you guys. You guys had a very long time to watch the movie, so don't blame me. I know a lot of people may or may not be hoping for maybe like a Teen Goten and then like a Teen Trunks being added to the game. I don't necessarily see that happening, mainly because if they do add an End of Z Trunks or an End of Z Goten eventually to the game, you know, I don't know how the variations are really going to be consistent within the game, but I don't think it would also be too far off. You know, they don't really have anything, they don't really do any moves, or they aren't very special, you know, within the superhero movie, you know, so I don't even know what their movesets would consist of. I don't know if they're just going to give them basic attacks or anything like that, and if that's the case, you know, I don't think they're going to be very favorable within the game at all, because they don't really do much within the superhero movie. So I think it's safe to assume that we shouldn't be very optimistic for a Team Goten or a Team Trunks being within the game. But again, it's Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. This is a revamp off the Budokai Tenkaichi series. I wouldn't be surprised if they went ham on every single character that they would add for the character roster. Me personally, more than the superhero DLC, I am more hyped to see what they're going to do with the Dragon Ball Daima DLC, because I think a lot of the characters that we do get from these next 3 DLCs that will happen within Sparking Zero will be including the Dragon Ball Daima DLC rather than the Dragon Ball Super Hero DLC. I'm not sure why they're not adding Dragon Ball Super Hero as part of the base game and then maybe do a GT for DLC, mainly because GT is its own separate series. Dragon Ball Super Hero is literally just a part of Dragon Ball Super. It's just a movie. So I don't know, but you know, they can cook the way they want to, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. Let me know what you guys think about all of this down in the comment section below. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts and speculations on what we would get for the upcoming 3 DLCs for Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. I honestly think it's crazy that, you know, within probably the first year and a half of the game's release, we will already be expecting 3 DLCs within the bag, you know, so that's going to be really, really exciting. I think the first DLC that they will release will probably be maybe like 6 or 7 months after the game's release, and, you know, we'll probably get Dragon Ball Super Hero for that, and then the next DLCs after that, we will be getting Dragon Ball Daima, and whatever Dragon Ball Daima brings to the table will be added to the game as well. But yeah, thank y'all so much for watching. Leave a like and subscribe if you haven't yet, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.